Hello. Today I would like to share with you what I finally discovered during very, very difficult days of my life, that forgiveness impacts wealth. Stay with me on this one because I'm going to be sharing a message that unforgiveness is an emotional debt. Not another person's emotional debt, it is your emotional debt. So, if you are committed to getting yourself out of an emotional debt because of not forgiving yourself, or because of not forgiving life, or not forgiving other people, stay with me on this one because I have enriching experiences when it comes to this one, because I was a prisoner of an unforgiving attitude towards myself because of what I thought I was responsible for unfairly. And there came a time when I realized that I needed to forgive myself because what had happened had happened. The past was the past. I also learned to forgive even people who had unleashed hatred, attacks, and you name it. And you know how I forgave them? When I realized that they had made me strong, that I had grown from that hurt, from that pain, to be a person I am comfortable with today. So stay with me because I'm going to be taking you through 4 very, very important aspects when it comes to how I arrived at this experience. Number 1, forgiveness assisted me, and I hope this will happen to you, to have clarity about the situation I was in. I had to be honest. I had to spend time in solitude to reflect in an honest and a manner that just said, here you are, Linda, you are stuck in this situation. It is a situation you need to face with honesty. And you know what happened? Just that decision on a daily basis to wake up in the morning and reflect on the situation I was facing, that was very helpful because it was one step at a time, but I began to think clearly about issues. I even began to look at the situation from another person's position. But I managed to do that when I forgave myself. I forgave myself for having been stupid, for having been too trusting, for having been naive. It just was very interesting, and I forgave myself. And when that happened, I expanded. I accepted that what had happened, that I needed to do something that would get me out of that situation. That was liberating, getting myself out of prison because of clarity. I thought clearly and in an honest manner. I grew. Secondly, forgiveness helped me to relax. And when I relaxed, I started enjoying moments of being with other people. Obviously, I decided to move away from the company that would take me back to a situation I was getting myself. away from. And just that, freeing myself to mingle, to network, to open myself to company that was encouraging, enriching, and inspirational. That happened when I forgave myself. And I also forgave life. Can you imagine me forgiving life? Because what I learned was that the responsibility to improve, to do better, and avoid repetition rested solely with me. Again, I thought that was very liberating. I even started laughing at myself. However, that was not the end of the story, because I am over 60 and I have experienced the highs and the lows, the failures, and some failures were totally beyond my control. And when I realized that some matters had happened totally beyond my control, I stopped blaming myself. I forgave myself. I understood that life happens, that people are people. That is, those who had been instrumental in the failure. I took responsibility. I took responsibility for what had happened. And again, the question was, and then what next? And this was very interesting because I'm going to share with you. There was a time when I was desperate to get my business off the ground, and I made a bad investment because I was aching, I was anxious to make it. I lost because it was a bad investment with people who have no integrity. I was angry with myself. But this time, I cautioned myself from wallowing in pity and maybe just remaining indoors and not even wanting to go out because I had messed up. Another thing that was very challenging was that a lawyer like myself, who should have read the fine print and assessed people's characters, was in a financial mess. So I made a very interesting decision because I just needed to mop up. I was not going to waste time following people, investigating this and that. I accepted that I had messed up and that I needed to do something to rectify the situation. And I did that. Today, I have no regrets. That is why, unashamedly, I share with you that a whole lawyer was also hoodwinked. So, here is another lesson that I've learned when I am in a dark pitch, emotionally depressed, and I'm a wreck. I usually remind myself that, well, life is life, that I am still fortunate, that I'm breathing, that the sun is shining for me. It is not shining for other people. I'm also part of this abundance, this sun that is shining, the air that I'm breathing. And I usually celebrate that. So I learned not to spend too much time remaining where I am, being an emotional wreck. And that has helped me because I have learned to observe my thoughts and to control my feelings. not taking emotional decisions. Remember that investment that I've just shared with you. I had taken an emotional decision because I was anxious to rectify a situation, only to be hoodwinked by unscrupulous people. So this time I've learned to tone down. I take my time, and please do this to yourself. I take my time to decide, and I inform myself. I do research. I have learned that when it comes to being successful, being prosperous, being wealthy, it's a long game. And do forgive me for sharing this not so very good news, particularly if you are on YouTube and you are starting a business or you want to improve your life. It is not an overnight game. Maybe for some people, but I would guarantee that the majority of people who don't quit, they stick it out. They are stuck there because they want to make their YouTube involvement or business work. It's a long game. You don't rush things, whether you are starting a business or whether it is an investment, whether it is just what you plan to do with your life. It takes time. And because it takes time, I learned to be patient. I learned to accept that my life improves on a daily basis. I learned to take small steps, repetition every day. There was a time when I admitted in bed for 3 days, not getting out of bed after my husband had died in a car crash. I was down and out. What was also challenging is that the fatal accident happened when I was writing my final year law exams. So I just went into pieces. But I had to bounce back. I'll never forget how I felt the dark cloud lifting when I just drew the curtains open and I took a shower and got dressed. For you, maybe that's a small thing, and for me, that was a major breakthrough. In case you are in a similar situation, celebrate the small things every day. Getting up, breathing, getting dressed, and maybe just taking a walk for 20 minutes. I'm sharing this with you because life is challenging out there. And there are times when we think we are all alone. Remember, forgive yourself, forgive others, forgive life, and feel yourself expanding. But be patient. Take one step at a time every day. Repeat and repeat and repeat. You know what happens? You grow inside. You become wealthy inside. You expand. And when you look back, you feel that you are no longer the person you were last week or yesterday. You are growing. You are becoming wealthy. And you even learn to be patient, to be forgiving to yourself. You forgive yourself. And when you forgive yourself, it becomes very easy to forgive other people. Opportunities come. Ideas that are constructive come. If thoughts that don't serve you come, you just ignore them and embrace thoughts that serve you. Decisions, you learn to make decisions that serve you. You avoid bad decisions. If you do make bad decisions, you correct and forgive yourself and move forward. Isn't that a celebration? And that is why I am grateful that I am sharing this experience with you, so that you remember that unforgiveness is an emotional debt, that forgiveness impacts wealth. And by wealth, I mean wealth inside and outside. But it has to start with wealth inside. It has to start with you forgiving yourself and deciding to take action to move on. If you find this video helpful, do me a favor. Comment. I would like to hear your comments. But another thing that is very important, could you jot down just one thing where you would like to forgive yourself from? And tomorrow, can you repeat that? Write it down and practice it and practice it and practice it. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to being with you in the next video. And do remember to press the like button and subscribe so that I can grow the community, and do share with other people. Who knows? Somebody may be trapped in unforgiveness. Thank you. See you in the next video.